This is the final of the 9 elements, and it's prophetic voice. It's one of those ones where you're like, really? What do I gotta say? Because a lot of times, we think we know what we gotta say. Did you know that we all talk here about we have the 7 chakras, right? We've done pictures of the chakras, we do colors in the chakras. You have an aura that goes out like your chakras. And it's the same thing. So you have like the red, orange, yellow, goes out the same way. And we have little post-its on us, on those outward aura that we have. And they're energy post-its. And they're of different conditionings and ways that people think they see us. So really, when people see us, they see this entity that walks in with post-its all over it. And they see what you used to be, or what you've conditioned, rather than who you are in the moment. Be. Because we got all this stuff in the way. And for us to even imagine that we could have any kind of prophetic voice, you need to cut through all that. And that's what all the other elements were about, right? That idea of having to actualize moral capacity, that idea of understanding our interconnectedness, that idea of being nonviolent, that idea of doing our spiritual practices, having humility, keeping our lives simple. All of these things, being of selfless service, all of these things help to crack us open. So we can start to take away those posters, to drop them off, to be able to come, as been quoted before, some of you have heard, to come with holy open arms onto the Father. To come clear, so that a prophetic voice can come through us. Our problem is, and very much so these days more than ever, is we'd rather be right than happy. We've all heard that saying as spiritual beings, but we know we're right this time, and being right is going to make us happy. I like what Jeffrey Allen has to say. He's a spiritual energy guy, and he likes to say, instead of saying, is it right? Is it useful? Is it useful? Right? Is it useful? And how do you want to use it? To force an idea on somebody? Remember, when we're talking about spiritual ideas, we're talking about that, the poets like Rumi, we're talking about the prophets, we're talking about working the unseen world more than the seen world, right? The invisible more than the visible. Holding on to truths that transcend this little life of ours. As we step out of that little life of ours and stop worrying about the little life of R and the me and the way it is, and start opening ourselves up like the prophets did, and sometimes they weren't. It wasn't so easy to do. That's why I love that in the direction of the South, we talk about the Archangel Gabriel. In how many traditions, when they talk about angels, they talk about how the Archangel Gabriel came in and literally fought with them. And said, oh yes, you are going to do what God says. Oh yes, you are going to be that voice for this invisible, transcendent, amazing grace that is trying to uplift us and help us to come to a place of conscious evolution. That's what the spiritual work is about. Coming to a place of conscious evolution within ourselves and within the world. Are my beliefs helpful? Does it make me happy that I hold fast and turn my back on another because they don't see things the way I see things? Does it make me happy? Is it helpful? do. You know? We have to decide for ourselves. The things that we think are so true aren't that way. We continue to condition ourselves. We don't even realize we're doing it. I love this story. This is a story about, again, this is Jeffrey Allen. I just wanted to share that. He tells a story about when he first got his iPhone. First smartphone was an iPhone. Now the iPhones were so great, and he printed that idea that iPhones are so great. And his friend got an Android. And the Androids were so great. And for years they had this debate and this battle over iPhones or Androids, when both of them should have been just excited at the fact of this evolution of technology that gave them this idea that we all have this way of communicating, no matter where we are, through this Wi-Fi, through this connection, not having to be chained to the wall and talking on the phone, finding the phone first. Of all the amazing things it can do for all of us, no, mine. Because it works like this and mine works like that. We get caught in these things. And that might seem like a silly example, but it's not. It's the way we handle so many things in our lives. And we cannot have a prophetic voice if we're coming from an interpretation like that. Having a prophetic voice means emptying ourselves, becoming that pure channel. I hear a lot from a lot of different people, you know, when they go see different channelers or different people that are doing it. And they go, oh, well, this one seems like really just kind of opens up. And you know why? Because they start speaking in another language to somebody who speaks that language. And they never spoke that language before. And they have no clue what they said to the person. And it made perfect sense to that person. That person, I think, is channeling. Because then they can do a different language over here and a different language over there. Whereas other people are our own filters get in the way. That's what I'm trying to say, the filter system. We do not have prophetic voice when we have a filter system that is getting in the way. Now, this is not a bad thing. It's just to understand that it's a thing. And a lot of us get on our high horse, the spiritual people, and we know what is right. You never know what's right for another human being. But we know what is true. That grace and that light of who they are. And we can be a witness to that. And to hold to that and not get distracted by the other stuff. Yeah, but they're saying this. Yeah, but they don't believe that. There is a divine energy that we all want. We all want this connection. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. We all want to be known. What you are looking for, you are looking with. That's Michael Beckwith. I love that. You know? What you're looking for, you are looking with. So if you want to look for spirit, you'll be looking with spirit. If you want to look with fear, you look for fear, you'll be looking with fear. It all comes from in us. We can be these clear channels, but we can't assume we know what it is. So, this is not about having to get something, but to allow something. Not to get the perfect point across, but to allow that vision to come through. Amen. Yeah. The universe has an order. You know, not to make something happen, but to welcome what needs to happen. This is the difference in prophetic voice, other than the other voices. There have been some times that I have come up here, literally, because of some kind of thing going on in our lives. Believe me, we've had a turntail of lives, I can't tell you. It's been a whirlwind on the outside. This week we just had another death, our daughter-in-law's mother. So for me, being all my age, my friends, this is the fourth person this year that I've really been close to on a friend level for a few years. Well, Ginger not as much. And then my stepmother, who has been a learning experience for 40 years in all kinds of ways. But I was so grateful that my last experience with her has been a very diligent Ho'oponopono prayer. You know, trying not to make something happen, but to allow the unfolding. To let it be there. The word is love. You know? To remember that the universe only wants us to extend that love, to extend ourselves. And when we talked about selfless service, sometimes it takes effort. It takes us getting out of ourselves. It's leaving that small s behind so that capital S self can stand in grace and can say what needs to be said. I love that you have this mandala here, but as I was sitting there, for me, it was an I. It's an I. And that choice to see the world differently, you know, to see the world differently than the way I saw it before I went to bed last night. And like I said, we said before, sometimes I come up here and I didn't have a chance to do anything. And I sat there and I said, I am here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do. For he who sent me will direct me, and I am content to go wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. And I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. God, I don't know what you want me to say today, but I'll stand there and open my mouth. Use it. Use it. I'm so glad it was recorded, so somebody gets to remember it. But this is the idea of prophetic voice. You know, getting ourselves out of the way. My job is to do that all week long, to bring something here to you. And sometimes, like I said, that life gets busy and I wasn't able to do it, but I have to still stand up here and do what I do. And it takes discipline. That's where the spiritual practice comes in. It takes humility because, you know, does it have to be? It is what it is. It's the unfolding. It's the allowing. And to wake up and see we are the eyes of the world. I'm going to break out into the Dead song. I love that song. You know? Because once we have the eyes of the world, our heart is open. And we feel. And we connect. And in that place, I can't turn my back on another. I cannot judge another. I have no right. Because that breaks my heart. And breaks the heart of the divine. And if all I can do is offer one wink of love, then that